One thing I'm generally used to hearing is that Canadians can't make good cartoons. And it really baffles me because, I know we don't have the critically acclaimed type of cartoons like the ones you see on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. And yeah, sure, we do have our faults. We made shows like Almost Naked Animals and Space Chimps. But that doesn't mean Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon haven't had their woes too. With that being said, this is my top 10 list on the best Canadian cartoons, and I'm sure you've heard at least 5 of these. With that being said, to the list. By day, a normal student. By night, still a normal student. But the moment her bracelet starts flashing, she gets jumped into space and becomes Atomic Betty, an intergalactic space guardian sent to fight evil in the galaxy. And that sounds like a generic space opera cartoon. And in some extent it can't be, but to be honest, there are some things about this show that I do like enough to put it at number 10. For one, I think it's a show with a female lead, which is pretty rare, especially nowadays. And honestly, I really do enjoy the show's side characters, both in space and in school. Of course, there's the Admiral, which makes absolutely no sense. He's a goldfish. He's a goldfish. He's a freaking goldfish out of water. It doesn't make sense. All right, next list. Next. Next. Back in 5th grade, I kind of wanted to be a film director. Not because I had the passion for it, just because Ian made it look interesting. Now things have greatly changed then. Now I just want to be involved in something media or entertainment-wise. But besides the whole director thing, this show actually did have some quirks.
Hey Ian, how was school today?
Yeah, how was school?
It was great. I got an F on my essay because Kyle and Corey replaced the word coal with booger.
The main character, Ian Kelly, is a passionate, aspiring film director who brings his camera with him everywhere, hoping to make a movie out of literally anything. Along his adventure, he has his family, and his friends, and his dog. His 3-legged dog. Do those even exist? Oh, and I stand corrected, they do exist. Okay, next one. What do you get when you have a lazy teenager who accidentally emails a couple photos, fingerprints, and some of his DNA to a cloning factory? If you haven't figured it out, a clone with the exact opposite personality as him, with 5% dog DNA. I don't know, I think the reason why I really liked this show was because of the whole seeing Carl from 2 different types of perspectives.
Thanks, Daddy. Yum, extra pulp.
Back so soon, Carl?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Just came back to,
Finish your orange juice, son?
yeah, Dad. Oh, extra pulp.
You have the Carl who's all lazy and doesn't like to do anything except play video games and blog all day. And then you have the Carl who's all nice and loves going to school and loves doing all that. It's just really interesting. It really did kind of pull me in. I remember when the show first was starting to premiere on Teletoon. God, I'm sorry. I'm only doing this in one take. But there was so many promos going on, and I just found the whole concept of it so interesting. I go on the Teletoon website and watch clips of it. There were even clips of the voice actors recording the lines. But there's still one thing I can never get over, and it's how Carl's girlfriend Sky is Carl's girlfriend. She's like a vegetarian, activist, protester, and Carl's this lazy slacker that doesn't like doing anything. But I suppose it has to do with the fact that C2 is there to kind of balance that out. So Carl can be a jerk 1 minute, and then the next minute he can be some big L teddy bear or whatever. Regardless, Carl squared is number 8. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my paper. So now, on to number 7.
What's with Andy? What's with Andy? What's with Andy? What's with Andy?
Just by the opening of the show, you can just tell you'll possibly be in for some laughs. Actually, prior to this top 10 list, I found out that this series was actually based on a series of short stories by the author of the same name. Now back to the show, Andy wants to be the world's greatest prankster. And every episode will consist of him trying to pull off some very well thought out prank on basically anyone in the city. And yeah, that's basically it. There's more to it than that, obviously, but that's basically the premise. And he does it in very clever ways. And basically everyone in the town knows who Andy is because he's always playing pranks on them, and I think that's kind of the charm of it. Also, he breaks the fourth wall a lot, and that's always a plus one, because I just always think it's funny when people stop talking, or, oh my god, sorry. What I meant to say is when people literally just stop everything going around them and talk to you, the audience.
Whoa, easy there, loose lips. Yeah, that's right, I'm an artist, but my medium is a bit unconventional. I am a practical joke artist. I'm quite good at it, if I do say so myself.
So, yeah, that's a plus. Also, he has a black friend, even though he looks like kind of a nerd, but hey, next one.
Hi there, I'm Martin Mystery, secret agent extraordinaire.
And now allow us to introduce ourselves properly.
Okay, I know that I'm kind of cheating with this one because technically Martin Mystery is property of Marathon Media, which is a Paris-based animation studio, in Paris, France. So technically you think, oh, this is a French show. Well, I did do my research, and it turns out that it was actually co-animated by Image Entertainment Corp, a Montreal-based animation studio. So technically, it's a hybrid. And considering how popular the series was in Canada on YTV, it makes it just as qualified for this list as any other show I've talked about. Now, about Martin Mystery, it's about a teenager named Martin Mystery, obviously, with his stepsister Diana, and her friend Java, the 200,000-year-old caveman. They all work with a secret agency called the Center, and they team together to solve supernatural mysteries happening around the world. My main issue with the show was that it was cancelled after 3 seasons, but there is a rumor floating around the internet that Marathon and Image Entertainment are actually working on creating season 4. And considering how Totally Spies came back 7 years after it ended, I don't see any reason why this can't come back. So all I can say is let's cross our fingers and hope they deliver probably sometime in like 2017. Or who knows, maybe later this year.
This episode of TDI contains scenes of extreme stunts performed by animated teens. Do not try any of what you see here at home. Seriously, you could get really messed up.
Yeah, you all knew this was gonna be on the list somewhere. And yeah, I decided to put it in the top 5. I mean, it's had like multiple continuations. It's even had a spin-off series. And it's like one of the most popular Canadian shows on Cartoon Network, so it has to be here somewhere, and it's popular for a reason. And granted, I did like the first season a lot, and I kind of enjoyed the second one. The other ones kind of fell flat on its face. I mean, the only thing that was really holding this series together after like total drama action was the interaction between the characters, because sometimes the dialogue can be pretty hysterical. Well, unless it's Jeff and Bridget, because all those two do is swallow each other.
What is that?
It's just Bridget and Jeff!
Oh, nice. Don't you two ever get sick of sucking face?
I'm thinking that's a no.
This is it, baby. Better make it good.
That is the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Keep the line moving, lovebirds. I don't think this is the kind of action Chris had in mind.
Also, there's a black woman.
Yo, baby. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? Feel free to quit now and save yourselves the trouble, cause I came to win. Oh, what's up, my brother? Give me some sugar, baby.
And yes, that does mean a lot. But as for the premise, I mean, it's really just a reality show, animated form. You know, they go on a reality show, they go to compete, and eventually someone gets voted off the island. You know, you've seen Survivor. The only difference between this and Survivor is that they're competing with a series of games. In Survivor, they just have to, well, survive. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I think the only thing that really made the show so great was how funny it was. And some of the challenges. Those were actually pretty extreme. And Chris is a real dick. I would never go to camp with him as my supervisor.
I'm telling you girls, with my new digital video camera, I'm a shoo-in for Homecoming Queen.
Vote Clover for Queen. I swear I won't be mean.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's, great, Clover.
Yeah, in a painfully honest kind of way.
Again, kind of cheating, I know. But once again, it's in the same situation as Martin Mystery. I mean, technically, all Marathon Media cartoons are co-animated by Image Corp. So, really, they're all Canadian. Anyways, this show is kind of a guilty pleasure. Well, it was a guilty pleasure, because I have no problem saying I like this show. Kind of like how grown men have no problem admitting that they like My Little Pony. It's like Charlie's Angel, but good. As well as a hint of like anime influenced visuals. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that this show got cancelled and came back 7 years later. That completely flew over my head. I just remember hearing one time, Totally Spies is coming back for a 6th season. And I was like, wait, it's in a 6th season? Yeah, really did throw me off. And as I recall, I think they even made a sequel to it after it ended. I think it was called Spies. And I hated it.
At 4:15, detention gets out. The only problem is, I'm kinda not in detention right now. And yeah, that's a pretty huge problem.
Alright, now this one's actually fairly recent. And, well, it came out in 2012, but it just finished its 4th season, which I'm hoping is not its final season, because there was kind of a cliffhanger at the end, which I cannot bring myself to excuse. But this is Attentionaire. It stars a teenager named Li Ping who gets framed for one of the most disastrous pranks in school history. And the consequences of the prank is that he has to spend his whole entire school year in detention. And by like detention, I mean all his free time he has to spend in detention. Lunchtime detention. Even if he's on a spare period, he has to be in detention. That is the consequences of it. And ever since he's been in detention, he knows he didn't do it, so he's been trying with the help of this bully, Biffy, who constantly gets himself thrown in detention due to reputation purposes. They both team up to find clues to figure out how he can get out of detention. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, there's a lot of characters that are actually quite enjoyable, but I think what I liked the most about this was the ongoing story and the character development. The only problem I have is that the show didn't get as much recognition as something like TDI, but, well, it happens. Well, the show was actually never on the Cartoon Network channel. However, it was available online. So, you know, if you... Oh my god. Sorry, I'm only doing this in one take. You know, so if you're on Cartoon Network's channel one day and you see the tension there, go check it out. I'm sure you'll like it. I guarantee you will.
I didn't know you had an identical twin!
We're not twins! I'm black, and he's white!
Kind of like with What's With Andy, 16 got away with a lot of things that would go over a younger viewer's head. From a girl dropping her top and accidentally showing her knockers, from the use of mild language.
Whatever you say, ass man!
That's assistant manager. I could fire you for that, you know.
Your name tag says ass man.
Shut up.
There was even an episode where the girls were all on their periods and they were all having these weird, obnoxious mood swings. Everyone was just having weird personality changes and stuff. It's yeah, let's not talk about it. But I think what made 16 stand out from most shows I watched on Teletoon was its humor. It was so more not catered to kids, and I kind of liked it. I think it was fine. I mean, kids can still watch the show. Some of them might not get the humor. Like, I think like 16 was not made for the intention to please kids, and it excelled at that. But what I think I really liked was the friendship between all the characters. It kind of makes me wish that I had friends like that. Not that I have a problem with the current friends I have right now, but these guys are almost always there for each other. Especially Nikki, when she was there for Caitlyn at one time. And despite the fact that she couldn't even stand Caitlyn when she first joined their group. Oh, and there's a black guy that plays guitar. So, yeah. Anyways, on to number one! Before we go to the number one pick, there's a lot of honorable mentions. I actually chose way too many. So I decided to put in a little compilation of all the honorable mentions. So just sit back and enjoy.
A little sexual frustration, combined with lack of motivation, and a loss of concentration. I got a strange disease. I can't concentrate on work. My libido's gone berserk. Now I'm sweating through my shirt. I got a strange disease. 2 weeks ago, you said you'd never leave me, and here I am alone. And in this world of reckless happenstance, why do good things have to go away and leave you with nothing? Yeah, you left me with nothing. A strange disease. Hyper-emotional sensations set via television stations and unaffected by locations. I got a strange disease. I can't seem to get to sleep. I don't want nothing to eat. Walking up and down your street. I got a strange disease.
What did you have to put so much pressure on me? You push my heart away.
I didn't mean to scare you, little one. Is there nothing I can say? Don't leave me with nothing. Yeah, you left me with nothing. Strange disease. the Beatles gone berserk. I don't want nothing to eat, walking up and down your street, but only 2 weeks ago you said you'd never leave me. Now here I am alone, and in this world of reckless happenstance, why do good things have to go away and leave you with nothing? Yeah, you left me with nothing. Strange disease.
I come from the net, through systems, peoples, and cities, to this place, mainframe. My format, Guardian.
Yes, number 1 is the first ever CGI animated series, Reboot. At first, I wasn't really a fan. The more I watched, I continued to get more invested into the characters, the computer world they lived in. Basically, the whole concept of the show is what I loved, and as it continued, it took more darker approaches, which in my opinion helped it show last a little longer. My biggest issue with Reboot was the fact that it got canceled. Well, I don't know if it got canceled or just ended, but the ending, after like 3 or 4 seasons, it felt kind of cliffhanger-ish. But that is nothing to be concerned about, because as of 2015, they started working on a Reboot continuation sequel titled Reboot Guardian Code. And due to the new updates in technology, I can't wait to see what it looks like, and I hope it's just as good as the original. And there you have it, 10 Canadian cartoons that are actually good. And I bet most of y'all have probably seen like half the ones on the list, so I mean, I don't really gotta say much. And if you haven't seen them, then what the fuck you still doing here? Go watch them. With that being said, see you guys then with another top 10 or review or whatever I want to make. Yeah, so I'm gonna just walk out the door.